hear me. And
there you go.
We'll try. Welcome everybody to Meach'S Musings here on the Jeff Meacham Network. Of course, I'm Jeff Meacham because my name's on the door. To my left, as he is for every other Friday here on the network anyway, but I figured today needed a better touch than just good old JM because, well, I'm having one of those things where you have the day and you need a pal. So JJ is here, and this is unique because usually Meach's Musings means I'm doing an interview of some kind, and just going off, half kill, doing what the hell I want to do type thing. It's a little bit of both. I wanted to talk about stuff basically Greg Cherry does on his show on Wednesdays because he didn't do his show today. He had his show not air today because he had whatever he's got going on. And I almost didn't do this myself, but I wanted to show up. I wanted to content today. Those of you in my personal life, this day sucks. I hate this day beyond anything. But I wanted to make sure we got on the air and did something on the network today because a day without content is a day without, regardless of how many people watch, super chat or whatever, those views get the revenue generated. So I wanted to go ahead and get it going. And JJ he messaged me, you want me to pop in? And I said, dude, I'll have you co-host. Like, it's not dads. We're not, doing a top 10 or anything, although some of these weird laws, but yes, we are doing weird laws today, by the way.
Okay.
States, I picked provinces in Canada.
Canadian laws, eh?
Yeah, like these guys are. You think we're crazy down here in the lower 48?
Oh, I know we're batshit crazy.
Right, exactly. So, but then again, they had a decent person in charge the last 4 years, somebody who wasn't driving us all insane. So, there is that. And we're also going to do what Greg has not done in a while, which I always find eternally fascinating, and that's going over trending topics on the Twitter, as Bully Ray would say. So those are always, I don't know about insightful, but they're definitely interesting. And then, of course, at the end, we'll do the Q&A. But I did want to bring Jay on because he good with promoting the Renegades review, and I don't make an excuse for it. It just kind of is what it is. I don't do that very well, and I apologize for that, but I can't recommend enough how awesome a job he does and how much preparation this guy does for each and every review he does. And yeah, remember, he's going this month 28, but 30 or 31 days a month. The entire month he's doing something. This month, of course, being February, he has split the month in two between rom-coms and chick flicks, as he called it. And the second half is Black History Month, which are both uniquely important in their own way. Of course, we had the whole Black Lives Matter thing last year that really picked up steam. So I find it very topical of JJ to do that and make sure we saw not just blaxploitation cinema, because that was a huge thing in the 70s. No, it existed, but there's a lot of movies out there that feature people, Black people empowered that aren't, your Foxy Browns and your Shafts and things like that. And it's really a solid group of movies you got lined up.
Thank you. And just over here in my stack of movies that I still need to watch or rewatch in order to take my notes and get prepped for their respective shows. Just to show a little bit of the diversity over here. I mean, you've got Pretty Woman.
Oh, yeah, baby. Which, by the way, next Friday on the network. So there you go.
And you've got Marshall, the story of Thurgood Marshall.
Love it.
That right there just kind of goes to show the mix up there. And, so many other movies. Today, Bridesmaids premiered. Try saying that 5 times fast. Jesus Christ.
I don't want to.
over on the channel, and it's probably got about as many views as the last song did yesterday, which is currently still sitting at 0.
Oh
And
Lordy.
it's 24 hours in, so.
Yeah.
But my Dustin Diamond tribute has got like 30 hits, so
which is amazing.
It's just a
I do
matter
like
of
that.
what people want to watch and support. And Miley Cyrus, since hanging up the Hannah wig, has pretty much gone certifiably batshit crazy. So most people have kind of rebelled against her and turned on her. So
Right.
I can understand why maybe the last song wasn't as popular of a film. Plus,
Yeah.
it's got Thor's brother Liam as opposed to Chris Hemsworth.
Right.
So
Which Chris, God bless him, man. He is taking very interesting gigs.
he
He's
doesn't
down the
want to get
line here.
typecast. He
What's
doesn't
that?
want to get typecast.
Well,
He
no, he
doesn't
doesn't,
want to be a
and that's
one-trick
good.
pony. And
Right.
the problem is that it's already happened to him. And if you look at the box office for movies that don't have the word Thor in them or Avengers in them, they're pretty bad box office.
Yeah. Not
We
not a
won't
good look,
talk about
granddad, as
Men
we
in
used to say.
Black. We won't talk about Men in Black, which, in all honesty, was not a bad movie.
No, it wasn't. I liked it.
I thought it was good. I mean, was it Will and Tommy Lee? Of
Of course
course
not.
not. But, it was
It's not
Thor
good.
and Valkyrie not being Thor and Valkyrie. They carried that chemistry from Ragnarok over to the Men in Black franchise. And it was good.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to appreciate what the actor or actress is doing in order to not get themselves pigeonholed, because getting pigeonholed is a very easy thing in artistic expression, whether it's movies, whether it's music, whether it's anything. You get set in doing something, or your audience gets set in you doing something, you're screwed.
Yeah, definitely.
There's just no easy or polite way to say it. It's once you do what you do and the audience likes what you do, and then you don't do that, they're like, yeah, no. A great example, and this is like him or dislike him. If William Shatner's not doing Star Trek prior to Boston Legal becoming a thing, they're like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? This isn't Captain Kirk. I don't
That's
like
that's
this.
fair. That's a
You
fair
know,
point. And to
it
put
took
it
Jamie Lee
wrestling,
Curtis a very long time to get out of that. You know,
to put it in like a wrestling
but
character, it
I'm
was
sorry.
like the transition from the Hurricane to Gregory Helms. He had gotten so over as the
Yeah,
comedy character that when he tried to go straight laced and be a serious character, people didn't want it. I mean, he was cruiserweight champion and he had a decent push, but people were just waiting for the Hurricane to come back. They did not like Gregory Helms.
right. Which is why you see a Hurricane in the Royal Rumble every other year or whatever, and you don't see any other Shane Helms incarnation. So it's unfortunate,
It is
but it
what it
is.
is, baby.
At, yes, and there is a shirt for that over at Greg Jerry. So let's keep that in mind as we go along here. And while we're talking about Greg, real quick, before I get into the comments, because I do see a comment that I really want to put up there. I want to put this up because it's just tremendous. And I think I accidentally. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, Greg. So yesterday I messaged Greg and I tell him, look, I'm going to do this thing next week, and I really would like, if at all possible, to make this a reality before I go so I can wear it when I'm down there. We will see. I've got right now 7 days. Less than that if you figure I want it here before I go in the morning and leave in the morning. But Greg went ahead and did this, and God bless him for doing it, because you see the logo in the corner of the screen. This is just tremendous. And JJ and I, both being Back to the Future fans, we can speak on how awesome it is to have one of our shirts, one of my shirts, I should say, the network logo shirt, on a and the Back to the Future typeface, because I adore this movie so much. I just do. I love it to pieces. It's one of those things where when JJ and I first became roommates, and I had the limited amount of movie knowledge and movie likes, the narrow I did have, we did agree on Back to the Future. It's one of the greatest things ever made. If you watch Back in Time, you hear a lot of people on that panel say it's the greatest movie ever. It's the perfect movie. There's nothing wrong with this movie. I tend to agree. Like, you can find me a flaw in that movie, and I can go, yeah, but 2 and 3, not so much. Like, they're great. And I dare say 2 is still the best of the franchise because it's so Empire-esque in its presentation. But yeah, it's I love the movie, and I bought the hat for the trip next week because that's just I figured to go all 80s today, but the Red Hulkamania shirt and the Back to the Future, you can't get more 80s than what I'm wearing right now. So it's yeah, exactly. And see, people forget to Saved by the Bell started in '89, or '80, early mid '80s, because there was the pilot in '87, which we don't speak of because it didn't air more than once on purpose. And then but Good Morning Miss Bliss started, still in the '80s, So, but it's funny. I was reading an article on Saved by the Bell. I'll get to that in just a second. Teespring.com/back-to-the network, or go to my Teespring store and you can find it there. So I'm reading an article yesterday as we went over Dustin Diamond's passing. We did that ad nauseum the last 2 days on both our channels. Rightfully so. I mean, whatever you thought of Dustin in life, his character was very much the straw that stirred the drink a lot of times on Saved by the Bell, because he was the least snooty, the least detestable of the characters, because the rest of them were snooty or obnoxious. There's a whole Facebook page of videos with Zach Morris's trash, and like I can't
It's
get
a
over how
YouTube
funny
show.
it is. What's that?
It's a whole YouTube show.
And it's a whole YouTube thing, and it's just like you watch those, and you're a fan of the, you go, damn, he's right.
You don't think about it when you're watching the entire 30-minute presentation, or when you're caught up in the entirety of the series. But if you
Right.
go down and you watch the episodes, the way he breaks it down and he points the little nuggets out about each episode, it's like, man, Zach really was kind of a dick there.
Yeah, it's like it's like watching Rudolph, the Rankin Bass. You don't want to admit to yourself that Santa's a dick, but Santa's a dick.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, it all ties back to the old Costa shows. Anyway, but yeah, I was reading about Saved by the Bell, and like the producers knew even then. Yes, they had Haley Mills, and gosh darn it, Haley Mills is Haley Mills, man. She is who she is. But they knew they had to have one of the kids that had to be the anchor, that had to be the one that, if something happened to Haley, or they redid the show, that character was going to go on. And yes, it ended up being Zach, Mark Paul Gosselaar, Zach Morris, but Screech, Dustin Diamond's character, Screech Powers, was the only other character that, other than the pilot, he appeared on every single iteration of that show. Period. He was on Good Morning Miss Bliss. He was on the classic Saved by the Bell we all came to know and love. He was on the college years. He even went on the new class, which, God, that's a freaking death trap for most of those kids. But, he and Dennis Haskins made it work. So,
if I remember correctly, he missed the first season of New Class because he was doing college years. But once college years ended, then he came on to New Class for the duration of that run.
Yeah, I think he even did both at one point, because I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure his placement at Bayside was a college work program type thing from Cal U. So I'm pretty sure they coincided at one point.
They may have tied it together that way, but I think that the college years had officially ended by the time he popped up on the New Class.
Right. So yeah, it's people love their Kelly Kapowski, and I'm in that group. Tiffany Thiessen.
Oh yeah.
I'll cast Tiffany Thiessen in anything ever if I ever get a producer credit. Like I'll cast her in a freaking mime class. I don't give a shit. Like
her and Candace Cameron.
Always, both, more so Candace, because she's a hockey wife, and that's all right with me. But yeah, it's you unfortunately you tend to, kind of go with what you see, what you read in the media, and Dustin's life kind of fell apart at the end, but really Zach and Screech, without Zach and Screech, that show doesn't go past John F. Kennedy Middle School. It really
Pretty
doesn't.
much.
It does not get out of um state. Help me.
I don't remember. I know they were in the Midwest. I want to say they were
Yeah,
in
so
Illinois.
Illinois sounds right. They don't get out of the Midwest and out here at Bayside without Marcel Gosselaar and Dustin Diamond. It does not happen.
No.
So,
And like I said on my tribute that aired yesterday, in my personal opinion, Screech was the heart and soul of Bayside.
very much so.
You know, everybody's got a little Screech in them.
Yes.
Despite if you feel you're more like Zach, you're more like Slater, you're more like Kelly, Jesse, Lisa, etc. Everybody's got that little bit of Screech in them, and without Screech's innocence, if you will, to the group, there's no heart.
No. It's very much one of those things where again you tie it back to wrestling as we do on this channel. ECW, without Rob Van Dam, you don't have a solid guy guaranteed to be in the main event. Without Shane Douglas, you don't have a guy that starts the Extreme out of the Eastern. Without Sabu and you don't have the Ultra Hardcore. Without Tommy Dreamer, you don't have ECW. Period.
Mm-hmm.
From the minute he evolved into the character he became, all the way through to the end when he was legitimately booking the territory because Paul kind of checked out at the end. We've all heard that many times now. You don't have ECW, and without ECW going as long as it did and having the legacy it did have, again, you pull that one thread, 20 of them, freaking butterfly effect. It's ugly. Without Screech to anchor, for lack of a better term, those freaking stuck up other 5 of them, you don't have Saved by the Bell. So, and hey, at the end of the day, Screech got Tori Spelling. Your move, Mark Paul. Your move, Mario. Like he got Tori Spelling. So good on him, brother. Which I saw she put a very nice tribute up. That was very sweet of her to do that. That was very cool of Tori to comment on, because I mean Tori Spelling, yeah, she got her start there, really, but we all know where she ended up, and we all know why she ended up there. But it's her being Violet really kind of made the producers of 90210, who a lot of them didn't know because she used a different name to audition for that show. They kind of went, huh, I like her. She's kind of good. So let's see what we got here. Colin is here. Good afternoon. God, it's not morning, Jeff. Hi. It's morning
Hey,
in America.
Colin.
Colin's here. And Michael with I love this comment. Thank you, Michael. Really enjoyed JJ's review of The Terminal. Never seen the movie, but after seeing your review, I plan on checking it out. That's what that show is all about, man. That is exactly what Renegades Reviews is all about. Even if you've seen it and you want to hear a different perspective, or if you've never seen it, dude, that's why. Boom, right there. I love it.
Much appreciated.
Oh, so cool to read. All right. So now that we've waxed approximately for 20 minutes on stuff that wasn't even on my topic list, we'll go ahead and
there we go.
The
Weird Laws?
No, we'll do that second.
Okay.
Because Weird Laws is always fun. And for the record, I haven't even read them yet, so we'll see what pops up. So I'm trying to look up the trending topics on Twitter in the United States anyway. The main thing is politics, as always, but there's something, and if people out there in the room that are younger than either one of us can help. Oh wait, let me put that down there anymore. Okay. Something about Nikki, Niki, and then hashtag techno. Content creators, Technobabble, Quackity, Rambo, Nikki, Naichu, Fundy, Bad Boy Halo, and Sapnap join Carl Jacobs for another installment of Tales from the SMP. What the hell is that? I have no idea what I just read. I'm sure the only thing in the room going, that's what it is. I'll come out. I don't know. So yeah, that's the number one trending topic that's not politics in the country. That's where
Okay.
we are in this country. Whew. Chrissy Teigen, who we both I don't know if you're fans of a fan of Lip Sync Battle. I find that show hysterical.
I
And
like Lip Sync Battle. I'm not a fan of hers outside of it.
exactly, yeah, her stuff outside of that show is very uh acquired taste stuff, very much so.
Yeah. Uh,
So
far be it from me to try to censor anybody because I don't believe in censorship, but
right,
she's a little bit too outspoken outside of Lip Sync Battle for my liking.
right,
And I'll
right,
leave it
yeah,
there.
yeah. She's very much a gives no f's, pulls no punches, but it's a little bit too much even for me. And
Yeah.
like you said, I don't believe in most censorship because we're pretty open on this network and on this channel in general. But
Yeah. Same over on mine, but I'm a believer in, and I know you wanted to stay away from the trending politics there for a moment, so
that's fine.
apologize if I get a little political here. I'm very much in favor of like the old Rock the Vote campaigns and trying to get
Yes,
young people out to vote and using your celebrity, whether it's an actor, actress, model, entertainer, musician, whatever, to try to do that. I am not in favor of celebrities trying to force their political opinions on you and tell you why you should vote for that person.
exactly.
You're allowed to have your opinions. Like I said, far be it from me to try to censor anybody, but keep your political opinions, your personal opinions to yourself. Just try to engage the next generation of young voters and get them to vote. Tell them how important it is to make their voices heard. Stop trying to tell them who they should vote for.
As
We
scary as it's
we
going to sound,
already we
but
already sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there. We already have a generation who is insanely force fed by what social media and television media tells them. We don't need celebrities telling people what they should do because they're trendsetters.
read. I need to have a Renegades rant spanner whenever he do something like that because that was brilliant though. But it makes sense. It does. I love it. Now, if there wasn't so much actual letter words on this thing, I would totally have Greg make this shirt because I live by this policy in my daily life. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and they usually stink.
Most of them stink.
Yeah. So I don't know why, but Robin Williams is the #7 trending topic in the United States right now, and there's a
Interesting.
tweet. There's a tweet underneath it that's from Leighton E. Williams. It says, "What death of a famous person hit you the hardest? Specifically, someone you had no real relationship or even adequate adjacency to, but whose passing wrecked you in a real way." Robin's definitely on that list for me. He's not the top,
Yeah.
but he's definitely on that list.
Yeah. Robin is definitely on that list. Um, probably the biggest celebrity death that wrecked me the most when it happened was Eddie's.
Oh yeah, no
The
question.
one that's wrecked me the most long term is Jim Henson's.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because
Jim.
that's a day for me every year when that comes around. And I sit
Oh yeah.
there and I watch his service and I watch Muppet movies and I just remember him the way I choose to remember him. I was still young when his passing came, so I hadn't really experienced death yet. So it was just like somebody died, okay. But the older you get, the more some of those things start to hit you.
Yeah, and
But
it's really it's one of those things where when it happens, you don't realize how much of an impact it's going to have. But think about that. Jim died in '89, correct?
90,
90.
May of
Okay,
90.
90. They were already in the process of doing the negotiations to sell the franchise to Disney. That sale didn't go down for how many more years?
Almost 15.
Almost 15, because the Gaga politics and all the BS got caught up in it. Had Jim lived to see it through, we may have had a hell of a lot of the different Muppet presentations between 1990 and 2015. Like really, so it good or bad, but it
Yeah.
would have been grossly different than it was. And the fact that Disney worked with them so much in those interim years shows how, even though they get very corporate all the time, we've talked at nauseam about Disney's corporate transformation in the last 60 something years. They knew that the fans of the Henson Corporation, the Henson studio, would want to see this, that, however it was played out. Muppet Christmas Carol is my favorite Christmas Carol presentation to this day. Thanks to him, I finally got to see the Reginald Owen version, and my goodness, definitely 1A. Not gonna lie, but the Muppet Christmas Carol is one of the best things I've seen in the movie. Period. It's Michael Caine does such a good job of staying so grounded amidst the freaking chaos that is the Muppet universe. And Lord knows you can get lost in that in a hurry if you want to. But Michael Caine just totally no sells it. Just completely is Scrooge. He is who he is. I love it. What I also love
That
about
was the whole thing too, is that
right,
they told him to, have fun with it and play with it. And he was like, no, I'm going to play this like I'm playing a Shakespearean play for William Shakespeare. I'm going to be
yeah,
deadpan serious. And that's what made it so brilliant.
yeah,
Is because
exactly.
every other celebrity that comes on to a Muppet movie or a Muppet show interacts and they play and they have fun with it. Even Tim Curry is Long John Silver. But Michael Caine was such a
Yeah,
straight man, so stone faced, so stone cold, if you will.
right.
It just made it that much more brilliant.
Yeah, I find myself looking back because one of my other favorites is Patrick Stewart's Christmas Carol, because he's amazing anyway, and we all know my affinity for Star Trek. But I can't imagine Patrick Stewart now doing that, because he's such a goober now. Like when he's doing social media, but in 1999 he may have been able to pull that off, because he didn't stray very far from stoic Patrick very often. You figure Professor X, very serious character, very woeful character. The majority of his run on in movies. Captain Picard, it took six. It took 7 years for him to get a legitimate long term cry out of him. That was in the first movie they did of the Next Gen cast. The whole freaking run of the series, it was just kind of was what it was. But Patrick Stewart in '99 definitely would have been an interesting thing with the Muppets. I would have loved to have seen him pull that off, because I think if anybody could besides Michael Caine, probably I'd say Patrick Stewart, because he very much a classic Shakespearean actor, very much tied up in that. But don't get him and Ian McKellen in the same movie, because you're gonna have gooberific all day. It ain't gonna be pretty.
They worked
All
so
right.
good together as Professor X and Magneto.
So good together, period. Like, I was convinced for a brief period of time that they were together. Like, I didn't know. I mean, they work so well together, and they're such good friends off screen. You don't even really, it's amazing how well they mesh in life, let alone on movies.
Oh yeah.
All right, so Brett Favre's in the news. If you're a sports fan, let's see what we got here. Oh, apparently he gave his 2 cents on Watson's trade request from the Texans, and he says, "You get paid a ton of money to do a certain job and just do it and let the chips fall where they may. I think we may make too much money to voice an opinion, but I'm not saying he's wrong. Again, I think it's a different day and time, and it'll be interesting to see how the organization handles it." So I guess this guy's asking to be traded, very much in the same vein that Wayne Gretzky asked to be traded. Goodness sakes, 25 years ago this year. Um, when the Kings were in the tank in '96 and wearing those damn Burger King jerseys. But they were bad. And Gretzky's like, I'm not going to win a cup here. I want to go. So it looks like Deshaun Watson's asking the same thing now, playing for Houston. Hard to blame him. I mean, I know we're not big football guys, you and I, but Houston has not done very well in football the last 2 years. And, so I don't blame Deshaun one bit, honestly.
I mean,
So,
At the end of the day, you're playing a sport, number one, because you love it,
Right.
number two, to win a championship. And
Right.
if you're going nowhere on a team that's not going to win a championship, then you need to move.
Yeah.
You know, if memory serves me correctly, that's why LeBron moved from Cleveland to Miami the first time.
Yeah.
Then he made them a
And
winner,
then
then he moved back to Cleveland, and then
yep.
went from Cleveland to here.
And he brought the title to Cleveland. He did what he wanted to do at home, and then he bounced, and now he's here.
Yeah.
And he brought a championship here. So there you go.
You know, Brett Favre, ironically, it's ironic that his name was brought up in this story because I just finished watching last night There's Something About Mary,
Oh my
which is
God.
going to be reviewed this month. And I completely forgotten he had a cameo at the end of it.
Yeah, he's
I don't
the
think I
guy.
had
Yeah.
seen Something About Mary since it was in theaters, or maybe shortly after when it hit home media.
Nice.
It's been years since I've seen it, so I'd completely forgotten that Brett Favre had a cameo in that movie.
That's
He popped
tremendous.
up, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Brett Favre, yeah. It's
It's
funny.
like I don't care about football, but that's Brett Favre. I know who Brett Favre is.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, JJ knows I have movies in my DVD sleeves that collect more dust than they do moving time. Mary's one of them.
Ditto.
I think I've watched Mary once since I actually got the damn thing on DVD. So
I'm so torn up over here. You know.
yeah,
Yeah, you can see them all. At least a good chunk of them.
yeah. Well, like I said, mine are still in the same little things I've had for years. But yeah, Mary kind of sits there because most of the time when I have time to watch a movie, the boy's here, and like I ain't watching that around. Like no, that's a bad dad right there. Whoo, man. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because yeah, he just kind of pops up. Like there's all these granted, it's a solid cast on that movie.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh shit, Brett Favre. Yeah, it's funnier than hell. Let's see. Oh, here you go. Speaking of things you love, not the band, but the city. Liverpool is a trending topic in this country, which is very bizarre. Liverpool record 3 consecutive scoreless home games. Oh man, so they've lost 3 straight, and they haven't scored any of those games in those 3 games.
Ew. I assume they're talking about soccer, football.
Well, European football, soccer, yeah, whatever you want to call it. So sorry if you're all in Europe. I suck at that. So okay, all right, that's enough of the damn tire now. These topics are being boring. All right, so
So
in
not a
lieu
big
of Greg's,
news day for trending topics.
yeah, very much. Well, you know what? That usually seems to happen with Greg and I. Like when we were doing the trending, like of course we were doing it the last few months of the last year. Good grief, I was in politics. So we said screw it. And now you know what? All right, so in absence of the Greg Cherry show today and the weird state laws that I had lined up, which we will do next week, which I think I picked up Idaho for this week. So we'll see how he and I do with that next week because Idaho's definitely going to be an interesting choice, but we'll see how it lays out. I decided to do Canada as a country because you and I have a very dear Canadian friend. I have other Canadian friends that they tell me just some of the stuff that goes on out there. I was like, nah, no way. But here we go. In the province of Alberta, it is illegal to have more than 4 pet rats at a time.
All right.
So here's my question. Why is it 4? Number one. Number 2, what the hell sort of plague descended upon Alberta where they went, no more than 4? No, rats bad. What the hell's going on in the hockey capital of Canada, pretty much?
I don't understand the concept of owning a rat for a pet, anyways, unless you've got an infatuation with the Ninja Turtles. But
well, one of my very good friends, Jessica, has had pet rats off and on for many years. They are very loving little creatures when they're not. The thing is, we're used to sewer rats, freaking just dirty, disease infested, whatever. But little rats, when you buy them out of the pet store, you adopt them out of the pet store, they're really actually quite loving and very gentle creatures. They're not so vicious like you see in movies and TV. So, but yeah, only 4 if you're in Alberta. So That's right, because Anthony's right. Because if you have more than 4, if you have 5, it's a crowd. So apparently 5 is a crowd if you have a rat in rat family in Alberta, Canada. So there you go. No wonder Lance Storm is so stoic all the time. You can't have his pet rats when he wants them. Anyway,
From Calgary,
so
Alberta, Canada.
that's right. Or as Joyce Howes greatly said when I said Calgary, dramatic pause. For the kid. Even he's like, yeah, this is stupid. So apparently it is illegal to whistle in Petrolia, Ontario, Canada. The actual law states yelling, shouting, hooting, whistling, or singing is prohibited at all times.
Wow.
I'm not sure what major sports team Petrolia is close to, but they better not win a Stanley Cup.
Right?
They're in deep shit.
Right? Hopefully there's no concert venue near them, period, because, I mean, no singing either.
Right?
I mean, granted, nobody wants to hear me sing, but still, like, when you're going to a concert, coming from a concert, you're usually rocking out to the music in the car,
Yeah,
getting hyped for it.
So I guess Celine Dion can't perform in Petrolia. So one of the weirdest legal things in Canada is you can't pay for purchase with a lot of coins. The maximum amount of loonies, which is a Canadian dollar coin, is 25 loonies in one purchase, and only 5 coins of 25 cents. So if you've got something that's more than $25 and 5 more coins of like what we call quarters, you're screwed. See, I go to the grocery store with coin. Well, not right now because I can't go anywhere because we're stuck. But I purposely go and like to the grocery store, the liquor store, whatever, and try to unload that change to jingle in my pocket for a week. Like, okay, it's enough of this shit. I don't want to deal with it. I hate change in my pocket. I am the worst Santa Claus when it comes to jingling in my pocket. I can't stand jingles. It drives me crazy. So I definitely can't pair that off in Canada. Canada, period. Let's see. In Oak Bay, which I don't know what province that's in. Maybe that is a province. I don't think it's a province, but in the city of Oak Bay in Canada, you could possibly get fined if your parrot talks too loudly, and $100 fine at that.
F off.
Yeah.
F off.
Right. Overtaxing. This should be good. All right, you and I can appreciate this on different levels because you've got family where there is this phenomenon more than I do. It is actually a law across Canada. You cannot have a snowman taller than 30 inches. So if your snowman's about 2.5 feet tall, you're going to jail.
I feel bad for all the kids in Canada that, wanted to be Anna and Elsa and build snowmen.
Right? I mean, you can't control your magic. You don't know how tall it's going to be when it just happens.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Hashtag.
Okay. All right. So,
hey, Greg, when's that shirt going to come out? Hashtag shenanigans. Still waiting for that one too, Greg.
That's right. We need that shirt on the network for sure. In
Make sure he knows I'm kidding
Beaconsfield,
with him.
Jesus. Okay, so I'm sorry. There's more than one thing. So in Alberta, the whole province, it's against the law to paint a wooden ladder. Not paint with a wooden ladder, but actually painting the ladder. You can't paint the ladder itself if you're in Alberta.
Okay.
And apparently, Ottawa's not fans of Whoopi Goldberg because you can't use the color purple to paint anything there.
Ouch.
I said what I said. I love you, Whoopi, but I said what I said.
I can't live in Ottawa then because you know me in purple. Like purple's my color.
I was going to say, man, yeah, no. Meanwhile, in Beaconsfield, Quebec, Canada, if you paint your house more than 2 colors, you can actually be sued.
What?
Yeah. That's actually a thing in Beaconsfield, Quebec, Canada. Good Lord. Here we go. In Oshawa, there is a law that bans climbing trees. and I quote, as Raji M would say, no person shall interfere with a tree or part of a tree located on municipal property, including but not limited to attaching, affixing, or placing upon in any manner any object or plate or thing to a tree or part of a tree and climbing the tree.
So no tires, no swings, no tree houses,
No setting up your kid's birthday party in the park with streamers.
no pinata.
No pinata. Yeah, no pinata. Pinata! Pinata! If you know, you know. If you don't know, you're better off than them. Damn it. Anyway, okay. Here's the one. I'm pretty sure this was a law on one of our state ones recently. It is illegal to eat ice cream on Bank Street in Ottawa on Sunday. So if you go to 31 Flavors out there, if they have it, and you're walking down the street on Bank Street in Ottawa, you can get arrested for eating the ice cream. Going back to the tree thing, what about I didn't see anything about Christmas trees, Anthony. So I don't know. I wonder if they have a certain like place where you can go hack those trees down, like we do here in the States, where you can just copy your own tree down, or if that's a whole thing too. This one right here definitely makes me appreciate Aaron's endeavors at SummerSlam a couple years ago. Uxbridge, Ontario has a law that forbids Wi-Fi connections faster than 56K.
Wow.
So, yeah. I don't know how close it is to Toronto proper, where SummerSlam was when Nerdy Q crew went up there. But if they did that show on 56K, because that was crazy. Oh, my God. Well, in the category of we're going to put a shackle on William Regal and Jake Roberts. It is against Fredericton, New Brunswick law to wear a snake in public or carry a pet lizard.
Okay.
You'll have to get a fake snake if you want to do the Britney Spears reenaction, apparently. And or you can go to, oh shit.
Careful, Jeff.
Or you can go to the WWF shop, circa 1991, just get one of these.
There you go.
My mom found this the other day. All right. So, in the whole line. Okay. Let's see. What else? Oh, here we go. Canadian maple syrup laws. This should be really good.
Oh, God.
So, okay. Canada doesn't mess about when it comes to maple syrup. There is an entire act of regulations dedicated to the tasty sauce. There's one that states that it's illegal to claim a product as maple syrup when it's not. Quote, no person shall market the product, a product in import, export, or interprovincial trade in such a manner that it is likely to be mistaken for a maple product for which a grade or standard is established under these regulations. Jesus Christ. So don't go around telling people that chocolate sauce is maple syrup, but you'll hear the sirens.
Jesus.
Seriously, do not mess with Canadian maple syrup. Don't mess with Canadian bacon, man. They will rule your asses.
And don't mess with Kevin Bacon. Try to stay 6 degrees away from him.
That's right. That's right. It's 6 feet in this country. It's 6 degrees in Canada. That's how, okay. So, no casual wear. In Halifax, Nova Scotia, the home of, I believe, Chris Cass, if I remember right, taxi drivers are not allowed to wear T-shirts. Number 24 in Halifax's regional municipality bylaws for taxis and limousines states that drivers must be dressed neatly and tidy at all times. They have to wear shoes and socks. Well, God, I would hope so. Ew. Keep their attire in and absolutely cannot wear a T-shirt. There you go. There are your laws. Just some of the laws north of the border.
Jeez.
Everybody that was, 4 years ago saying they were going to bail with somebody got elected, be thinking real hard about your choices, kids, because that's the idea with shit like that. Tremendous. All right. It is now 45 into the hour. God bless you guys for sticking with this craziness this long. Open Q&A. Anything you want to ask me, anything you want to ask Jay, anything you want me to put out there to the universe en masse. As we wait
Don't
for the
be shy
questions,
about using the super chat feature.
Yes,
It'll
definitely
get your
super chat,
question,
please.
It'll
Yes.
get your question answered quicker.
Yes. Exactly. Thank you for that. I always forget to do that because I'm so bad about asking for money. I hate being that guy. But yeah, this is how I make my
Well, yeah,
living,
I
kids.
mean,
So
but by all means, it's not like we're trying to beg, but I mean, the feature is there. Number one, like I said, your question will get answered quicker.
right.
And number two, this is how Jeff makes his money. So, anything that you can spare to use the feature just helps with equipment, lighting, field trips once we're out of this pandemic.
In the words of the movie I watched last week at the random choosing that my best friend always does for me for my Disney movies. Arms for the poor. Arms for the poor.
Robin Hood.
I forgot how good that movie is, man. Like, my goodness,
That
that's
movie
tremendous.
is awesome.
Yeah, it
It
is.
is so underrated.
Very much so. Like, you lose that one in the renaissance of the 80s and 90s because it was back in the 70s, but that was one of the
Mhm.
few in the 70s that actually hit the point, man. A lot of them were garbage, I'm not gonna lie, but Robin Hood kicks ass. Love it,
Very
love it.
much so.
And the freaking line about having an outlaw for an in-law is just tremendous. I love that line, and it's great.
See, and to this day, I say Maid Marian should be a Disney princess.
Agree. She's
Because
daughter of a
how
king.
else would King Richard have an outlaw for an in-law?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, we won't get on the whole fact that he's a lion, she's a fox. What kind of interspecies erotica was going on to create that child spawn of him? But if he's got an outlaw in Robin now for an in-law, that means Marion is his daughter.
Yeah. And by the way, whatever it did to create her, it's probably legal in Canada. Anyway, probably legal in this country. So, just for your own, I don't know if you looked the link or not when I sent you yesterday. There is, in fact, a purple option for the new T-shirt.
I have not looked yet. When I go to purchase, I will probably get the standard black just because the way that pops on the black.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
Like,
mean,
I like how it
you
looks in
can
the
see
black
it right
there.
there. You can see it
Yeah,
right there in the corner. Just
yeah.
the way it jumps off.
I'm torn between
Definitely gonna.
that and the standard Back to the Future scheme blue because that looks damn good too.
It does.
Yeah, I the entire Back to the Future website, the entire basic color scheme of the franchise is very much that background of that blue. So I'm like, oh, I do. And then I'm like, okay, I can do one of each. Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I definitely want to. I'm hoping like Greg is trying, I guess, to get the design uploaded somewhere else so I can get it in time. Like I said, 7 days is not very long, and even if it does get where it needs to be, I'm not guaranteed the shipping time because I don't know if it's going to be one of those products that you can use the fast shipping. I don't know.
Right.
So if it's not, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just wear the Royal Rumble logo shirt that I was going to wear. Because, like I said, I had a whole plan, man. I've got that. I've got the hat. I've got this. I don't know if you guys saw this online or not, but this is the funniest damn thing I've seen in weeks. Just tremendous. And
Mm-hmm.
when I knew I was going to make this field trip, I'm like, dude, that mask like called to me like the freaking green light thing in Superman. It's like beacon to me, like, oh, so that's perfect because that's what we're in now. I'm going to a house that two kids are housed there. He doesn't want that shit brought in. I don't want to bring that shit in, but I'd love to go hop in the car and go back to a time where we didn't need the damn masks. It's like, it'd be awesome. So it spoke to me. Here we have a question from Mr. CJ. Thank you, CJ. From I forget where you are located, but I know you're a Braves fan. So God bless you for admitting that on purpose. Should Edge and Christian be given the tag team championships? Dude,
I say yes.
we are like toe barely in the water here. Let's relax a little bit. Christian made one appearance 3 nights ago. We knew
Mm-hmm.
Edge was coming back because we knew he's been saying that for weeks that he was going to come back. Christian, I had no idea he was medically cleared. So my brain's all over the place on Edge and Christian. If Edge does not win his championship match at WrestleMania, yes, I would love to see them get one more tag team championship run. And if Billy Gunn was not locked up with AEW, I would love to see actually a decent Edge and Christian versus New Age Outlaws match, because all four of those guys are still in let's get in the ring and go shape. So I'd be okay with a little Attitude Era reminiscence on that one, because when the Outlaws won the tag titles, they were pretty much contesting with everybody that was current in the company. We didn't see a whole lot of flashbacks. The only flashbacks we got during that era of the company was the freaking Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov wrestling, quote unquote, Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, which was a train wreck on a WrestleMania Rewind show. So, yeah.
But yeah, I definitely would love to see them get one more run. I kind of agree with Edge or with Jeff there. Let's see what happens at Mania. Truth be told, I don't think Edge is going to get the belt at Mania. I think whoever he faces, he's going to put over because he realizes he's in the twilight of his career. He came back last year after being gone for how long?
9 years.
Just to get injured a couple months later again.
Right.
I think Edge realizes that his best days are behind him. Put over the young talent. Give him and Christian one more run, one more glory run, if you will. Whatever the current post-Mania pay-per-view is. I know it used to be Backlash. I don't know if it still
I'm
is.
also not sure what it is right now.
But maybe the April or the May pay-per-view, give them the belts. Let them run with it till like SummerSlam. Give them a good couple month run where they can put over some of the other tag teams that are on the program and just call it a day. Let them ride out into the sunset. Maybe use them at Survivor Series as part of a traditional Survivor Series team. Edge and Christian, Jeff Hardy, and then just for S's and giggles, you've still got Braun and Bradshaw that are hanging around that do stuff. The Untold APA story is supposed to be premiering, I think, this Sunday on the network. So have ENC, Jeff Hardy, and the Acolytes versus insert team here.
Yeah. You and I being fans as long as we've been, watching the Evolve, I am of the opinion to this day that La Familia was way underrated. Like, I feel that, and yeah, Bam, whatever his name was, Bam Neely, like, okay, and Chavo, I talked about Chavo not being the guy at any given time, but he was a solid support player there. But Edge and Vicky and Hawkins and Ryder, I feel they were given too short a time to really grow as a faction, and they kind of broke it up way too soon. So, and now unfortunately Hawkins and Ryder are both in Impact, so we won't see that reunion in WWE, but it would still be cool to go back and look at that. It'd be awesome. So, okay, Anthony says, did you listen to the Jim Cornette's podcast? He called Bad Bunny Bugs Bunny. Now, okay, I'm glad you're here because you're my music guy more often than not. Who the hell is this Bad Bunny guy? Like, I have who the hell?
Number one, I have no clue. Number two, when they said Bad Bunny, at first I thought it was a chick.
Right?
And number three, and I don't know if you're on Aaron's channel right now, but I know you get one in, so I'm going to use your one right now. What the fuck was that performance at the Rumble? I sat there watching it, and multiple times I had the remote in my hand and was ready to start fast forwarding.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see what G.I. Bro was going to do standing there. Because we can't call him Booker T. He was straight up G.I. Bro during that performance.
Oh my God, yes. Just awful. Awful. Oh.
And I didn't want to hit fast forward because I didn't want to miss Booker actually do something.
Right.
And then he did nothing.
Nothing. Not a thing.
And I'm sitting here wishing that I was watching Jeff Jarrett's performance performance of Sawyer Brown's Some Girls Do from 1998.
Oh my
Because,
goodness.
goddamn, at least that was more entertaining.
Right? Jesus.
When Miz came out during the Rumble and destroyed the set there, I was like,
Yeah.
I popped almost about as hard for that as I did when Victoria came out.
Right? Exactly.
It was so pointless.
So bad.
And like, okay, so they're gonna do this match now with Bad Bunny, and it looks like maybe Damian Priest
Right, which
against
makes
Miz
sense.
and Morrison.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, number one, why not just use Booker T? It's not like he's crippled.
Right.
You know, you have a song called Booker T. You performed at the Rumble the song called Booker T, but Damian Priest is going to be your partner,
Yeah.
not Booker T, the guy that you totally just put over
Right.
in this song,
Yeah.
because
Well,
that makes sense. Is
to
Vince
be
Russo
fair,
booking this?
yeah. Well, to be fair, the moment they had with um Priest in the Rumble with Miz was design. It's basically his introduction to the main roster and his
Which makes sense. I
right.
kind of
So
sensed that when I saw it, but
right.
still,
So I
it's
get
like,
it, but it's still crazy. It's still crazy. All right, hang on one second. I'm trying to get this. There we
Anthony, I do not listen to Cornette's podcast. I
go. No.
try to not listen to anything that Cornette says.
Well, I was talking with
Unless I absolutely have to, because he's a part of some documentary that I'm caught up in and watching. But I try to stay well more than 6 feet away from Cornette's voice if at all possible.
yeah, Jimmy. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday about Jim, and he's very much a polarizing figure. I'm not gonna lie. I I don't necessarily disagree with a lot of the stuff he says, as far as if they're actually factually accurate statements. But a lot of the times he just goes off into Neverland somewhere. He's crazy. So I tend to just kind of like, okay. So with that, we're going to wrap this thing up. I did want to thank you for coming on today. The main reason I brought JJ on today in particular is because Friday's episode of Dads is not just JJ and I this month or this week. Because coming up on Friday, we have, for the first time, and I think in a long time, our a special extra guest panelist on the show Friday. And because it's February, and Renegade Reviews is doing the rom com slash chick flicks right now, Friday's Dads is going to be a special top 10 love songs and breakup songs. And joining us for a certain portion of that show will be our friend Laura, and you will be introduced to Laura come Friday, and you'll find out who she is. And I'm looking forward to the reaction because I had fun doing this show. Yeah, technology was kind of a train wreck. Yeah, it kind of made for interesting hiccups along the way as far as my spastic output of energy and whatnot. But I still enjoyed the interaction between the three of us. It was very fun, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. So hopefully you
Very
guys do the
much
same.
so, very much so. And I don't know what it came down to when you edited it, but we filmed for like 2.5 hours that episode.
I'm pretty going to leave it
So,
intact for the most part. I mean, it cuts where I need to, but it's going to stay pretty much where it was.
so it's definitely going to be an endurance test, folks, as you're going to have
Yes.
10 love songs from Jeff, 10 breakup songs from Laura, and 10 more love songs from me. So you're getting 30 songs, and I don't believe there was a duplicate anywhere. I think this was the first time where there were no doubles on any of our lists.
You're right.
And
I believe
obviously
you're correct.
there weren't going to be between the love and the breakup, but for me and Jeff to have lists and there not be anything that clicks up anywhere,
Right.
it's definitely going to be one for the ages, folks, and I highly recommend that you watch it. Pop you some popcorn, grab you some jujubes, make a plate of nachos, grab you an overpriced soft drink from the local convenience store, and enjoy this week's episode of Dads.
And lest we forget, of course, on your channel Friday, which will be immediately, I'm going to try to set this up where it broadcasts right after you're done. So however you want to lay that out, but you have, what is Friday's episode on the Renegades Reviews?
This Friday, let me look here real quick. I was not prepared for that question.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
It's all good. So today is Wednesday. We just did Bridesmaids. So Friday on Renegades Reviews is going to be Brown Sugar.
Nice.
Starring Taye Diggs, Sanaa Lathan, Mos Def, Queen Latifah, and a bunch of others. Quite a few cameos from the hip hop industry, both current at the time hip hop figures, as well as some legendary artists like Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, Dana Dane, Method Man has a cameo. There's quite a few people in there, not counting Mos Def and Queen Latifah, who are actually parts of the cast.
Right. So that's coming up on Friday in the usual 6 p.m. Eastern time slot?
Yes.
So I will set Dad's up to go on at 7 because I know you're not going to go an hour. So we'll go ahead and make sure there's enough time for people to take a break, go take a leak and come back and sit, because like you said, Dad's is an endurance test. So,
yeah.
Whole bathroom.
It looks like you've got it slated to go at 2:00 our time for Dad's.
Not going to work
according to the flyer. So that means it would be over at 4:30. So we'll set it for 5:00 our time, 8:00 Eastern on your channel. That way they've still got that 30-minute break.
Oh well, no. This week isn't a replay week.
Oh, that's right.
Next week, it's all good. What I'll do is I know the flyer says 2:00. I will fix that. I will make that so we're on after Dad's is on after yours on your channel. So we'll make that be 8:00 Eastern. I know SmackDown's on, but SmackDown, whatever. So anyway, check it out over at youtube.com/Studios, and then come back here for the endurance test, as we mentioned. That will be Dad's and Always After Wrestling. Thank you all very much for indulging me today. I know it was kind of a crazy episode. I appreciate you, as I said, Jay, being on. Very much appreciate you coming on and
no problem, man.
You know me. For me, so
you know me, dude. If I'm ever at home and just happen to be around and you're broadcasting, I'm always at your disposal, man. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, brother. We will see you guys next time here on the Jeff Meach'S Network. Tomorrow, scheduled Wrestling Rewind of the WrestleMania 1 main event. We'll see how Greg and I lay out. We'll see what happens. And either way, we'll see you tomorrow right here on the Jeff Meach'S Network.